Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Even I use AI all the time, and so I was really happy that Eric offered to do this webinar with Ashley. And so I hope you guys learn a lot on how to use AI responsibly. And take it away, Ashley.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. We are excited for you all to join us today for our webinar, Unlock the Power of IA for Businesses Responsibly. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries at a pace we've never seen before, and it's no longer a distant future. It's today's opportunity. But with that comes great responsibility. So today's session will explore not only how to leverage AI for innovation and efficiency, but how to do it thoughtfully and ethically. So a few housekeeping items before we start. First, today's webinar is recorded. We will be sending out the recording and any relevant resources after the session. So if you missed something and want to revisit the content later, we do have you covered. Second, we welcome your questions. So please use the Q&A panel at any time throughout the presentation. We'll do our best to answer them either during the session or the dedicated Q&A portion towards the end. So first off, a quick introduction for myself, Ashley Grabenhofer, Senior Marketing Specialist. I have 9+ years in marketing, specifically in digital marketing, brand management, social media, graphic design, and data analysis. And I'm probably going to mess up Eric's last name, but this is, I'm sure a lot of you know, Eric Vincencio. He's our technology partner with 18+ years in IT, focused on managed IT services, cybersecurity, IT infrastructure, regulatory compliance, and cloud infrastructure. So today we're exploring practical ways to use AI in everyday business, diving deeper into privacy concerns and data ownership and the protection. And then finally, we will open things up for questions, so don't forget to drop those in the Q&A panel as we go. So with that, let's get started. Artificial intelligence is transforming small and medium-sized businesses, so let's talk about how it makes an impact. First, AI boosts efficiency and productivity by automating repetitive tasks, frees up your team to focus on higher work value. So it enhances decision-making by providing real-time insights and analytics, and it helps optimize workflows by streamlining processes. So a good example of that would be an AI-driven CRM system automates customer interactions and follow-ups, ensuring no leads slip through the cracks. We recently just invested in a pretty robust CRM system, and the amount of time that we have back in our day is immense, and it has helped us tremendously. So definitely a good suggestion. So next, it also improves customer experience. With AI, businesses can offer 24/7 support through chatbots, deliver personalized experiences based on customer behavior, and resolve issues faster. An example of this would be an AI-driven e-commerce platform, suggest products based on browsing history, increasing both satisfaction and sales. I have fallen victim of this. I'm sure a lot of you have. I just recently went on vacation for the 4th and was shopping for things for Arizona. And I was looking at sunscreen and sunglasses, and all of a sudden Amazon is showing me beach towels and a beach bag and things. And I was like, yeah, I do need these. So added to my cart. So definitely a great enhanced customer experience. Finally, AI reduces costs and increased profitability. It cuts operational expenses by automating manual tasks and helps allocate resources more effectively. An example of this would be AI-powered accounting software automates bookkeeping, which reduces the need for external bookkeeping services and lower fees. So in short, AI helps small and medium-sized businesses do more with less, move faster, and serve customers better. And most importantly, all while saving money. So now, ways to use AI in everyday business. Integrating AI into your business doesn't have to be overwhelming. Here are just 4 easy steps to start using it. So first would be identifying pain points. Determine where AI can add the most value, such as automating repetitive tasks, as I mentioned before, improving customer support, or enhancing data analysis. Next would be start small. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Begin with easy to implement AI tools like chatbots, customer service, CRM automation, or AI-powered analytics to streamline those operations. This third bullet is pretty important. Leverage existing AI-powered software. I'm sure a lot of your companies already have software or platforms that have AI integrated into it already. Some may include Google Analytics, Microsoft AI, AI-driven marketing tools. So this already is built into what you might already have. The next final step would be consider AI consulting or training for deeper integration in more complex AI applications. So as I mentioned before, we recently just invested in a quite robust CRM platform. And as someone who uses AI quite frequently in their job, I still use their team to help really get everything automated and set up the way that we need to. So always an option. So now let's walk through some practical applications. AI for productivity and efficiency. So first, AI-powered virtual assistants can automate routine tasks like scheduling meetings, sending emails, and setting reminders, freeing up valuable time for your team. You can also implement AI-driven data entry and document processing tools to drastically cut down on manual data handling, which not only saves time, but also reduces the risk of human error. But a caveat of that is AI isn't perfect either. So make sure anytime you use AI, you review it. Next, for team collaboration, AI-based project management tools can help assign tasks, track progress, and keep your projects on schedule without micromanagement. And then to keep things flowing smoothly, AI-powered workflow automation can help reduce bottlenecks by triggering next step automation when certain conditions are met. Then moving on to the performance side, AI-powered analytics provide real-time insights into key metrics, helping you monitor what's working and even predict trends. I've used this specifically for like social media analytics to see how accurate AI could be. It does save time, and it's a good starting point to say, oh, that's a good point. I didn't think of it this way, or things like that. So it's definitely a good option. And then finally, for meetings, AI transcriptions and summarization tools can capture discussions, highlight action items, and generate summaries so you can stay focused. I am known for my chicken scratch after meetings, and it's actually very not efficient. So being able to have a transcript and action items at the tip of my fingers the minute that the meeting is done is a really great tool. So I wanted to leave you all with some kind of action items that you could take home with you. We will be sending out this PowerPoint slide or presentation, so you'll have access to this, but each of these are linked to specific AI tools. I tried to categorize them as kind of what they might be used best for, but there are so many out there. Just keep in mind, you might, like I said before, you might already have some AI tools at your disposal, but here are some additional ones as well. So moving on, AI in marketing and sales, the kind of area that I live, breathe, and sleep. First, you can deploy AI chatbots on your website to engage visitors in real time, answering common questions, and most importantly, capturing potential leads while interest is high. I found value in having chatbots on websites for things like, what are your hours? Where your location? Are you open this holiday? Where can I make a donation? Just those simple kind of common answers to questions. The next one would be AI-powered content tools can help generate blog posts, topic ideas, social media content, and even ad copy inspiration. I was kind of going back and forth with this as a marketer, whether or not we should include this in here, because there's been so much talk of AI replacing marketers, as I'm sure there is all other careers. But it's important to note that AI is a tool and it's a good starting point for marketing. So generating blog post topics, I don't recommend going and flooding your website with AI generated blog posts just to have them on there. You definitely lose that human touch, and certain things like SEO are affected and whatnot, but just wanted to mention that here. And then finally, with AI-driven predictive analysis, you can anticipate customer demand and adjust your inventory or campaigns accordingly. So again, kind of how I mentioned, using it for social media analytics or trends or things like that, it's a good starting point for you. So again, here are just some really great marketing tools that are AI. I've used almost every single one of these before, so if you want to talk further about them later on, absolutely, I'm more than happy to, but feel free to check these out and see. Most of them have free trials or at least a free subscription plan. So yeah. And then finally, AI and customer experience. So first, AI-powered recommendation engines can suggest products or services tailored to each customer's preference and behavior. This not only improves satisfaction, but drives more conversions. Next, as I mentioned, chatbots and virtual assistants can provide personalized real-time support, answering questions, guiding users, and even handling simple tasks 24/7. I have found this very useful when I have a 2-year-old. So sometimes I work late at night or early in the morning. And if I have a quick question, these chatbots are very useful for me. The next one, for customer service teams, automated ticketing systems can help prioritize and route requests based on urgency, topic, or customer history, ensuring faster and more effective responses. And then AI can also enhance loyalty programs by analyzing behaviors and offering smart rewards to repeat customers, making them feel valued and encouraging continued engagement. So I've worked with a company that they wanted, once people spent so much money or bought so many products, that they would receive a coupon automatically. So they're not going in and manually doing that. There's ways to do that through AI. And then finally, you can automate personalized follow-ups like reminder emails, abandoned cart nudges, or special offers triggered by customer actions or timings, which I'm sure you have all seen as well. And then here are some more AI tools for customer experience. Again, feel free to review them at your leisure once you have access to this. And then with that, I talk really fast, so I'm going to actually pass the gavel over to Eric to talk about privacy concerns.
All right. Thanks for you all for being here. Super awesome that you're spending your lunch break listening to me talk about super fun IT things that might put some of you to sleep. I try to keep it light, but if you take a nap and your video's paused, no problems. Just wake up. We'll send out the recording. So let's go over some of the things that are super awesome to talk about at a high level. And if you have any questions on anything that I'm talking about, either throw it into the chat or talk to Therese or talk to me directly, schedule a lunch. More than happy to deep dive into any of these pieces. But, I'm trying to give you that high level. Let's try to get you some of this information because I have quite a bit of it. All right, so let's talk about the privacy concerns that AI kind of generates with us. So many of you probably are using ChatGPT, Gemini, any of these chatbots that are out there. And a lot of people tend to ask me questions like, hey, how safe is this? And generally I tell people there's no such thing as free lunch, right? If you're using the free versions of any of these chatbots, I have a lot of privacy concerns, especially from a business perspective. If you have some, corporate data, different things, AI can kind of revitalize your entire processes, how you're doing things. But if you're putting any sort of corporate data in there, we really have to start watching that. If you're a CPA firm, a coach, if you're do graphics and it's proprietary graphics, and you're using this different AI bots to actually revamp some of the data that you have, you have to actually be considerate of what data is going into the bot to make sure that you don't have any breaches. Okay. These privacy breaches, they happen unintentionally. Maybe somebody gets into our ChatGPT because we use password 123 as our password, and all of our history is there, and they can actually access some of the data that we have there. There are some different pieces of metadata that if you've uploaded a file, there's some things that we have to really kind of be conscious of to make sure that that our company is not at risk by us using AI. Okay. Now, again, I talked about this, sharing sensitive client data on ChatGPT. Let's say somebody gets access to your ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever it may be. That data could actually be extracted from AI. It's really easy to do. And suddenly somebody would have your entire list. Okay. Whatever it may be, whatever client data is out there. So again, be careful, be cautious on everything that you're doing. If you're using some of the AI tools to access your emails, I think that they're great. I can't tell you enough that, hey, I would caution you on using these. But you want to make sure that the UI that you're or the EULA that you're signing actually is protecting you as a business owner. Okay, if you're using Grammarly or any of those systems, you want to make sure that the way that it's written, if they get breached, how does that affect you? Okay, you want to make sure that you're not opening yourself up by using some of these commodity tools. So I tell people, especially if you're stationed or your core business is in Illinois, if you're using things or your employees are using things that are actually gathering any sort of biometric data in the state of Illinois, it gets super weird. The Illinois Biometric Security Act that was enacted a few years ago. You should, as a business owner or as an employee, should really be aware of what's all protected, because I tell people as a business owner, just stay away from biometric data. Stop using thumbprints for anything, right? So we really have to make sure that if you're using AI and it's doing anything with biometrics, that you're being cautious, okay? Shadow ITs, this is relatively new. But basically, this is where employees are using unapproved AI to do different things. So like you tend to see this with programmers. Programmers get hired for a job and they're just using like some sort of AI to generate all of the code, and that's all they're doing. And technically, who are you actually employing, the AI or the individual? They might not even be reviewing it. So it's kind of a scary world that we're starting to get into, but just make sure that you're aware of these risks as they change, because you have to remember, we're in the infancy of AI, right? I think we're on version 4, and it's just like this is the 4th rendition. I generally don't buy the newest model of a car, but with AI, we're all kind of using that new model, right? So we've got some things that still have to be scrubbed out. With any sort of compliancy, if you have to comply with GDPR, CCPA, HIPAA, whatever it may be, you have to be extraordinarily careful with AI. I just want to make sure that you all have this on your roadmap, that you're just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be using certain portions of AI. Okay. There is you want to make sure that your AI has some sort of audit logs or data retention policy, because there's laws that are like kind of getting formulated right now that you might want to dump this data sooner than your retention policy currently is, to make sure you're not at any additional risk. There's also, if you do have to comply with GDPR, you probably need to make sure that, or the GLBA, you have to make sure that you're not going to get fined because somebody has access to one of your customers' data, right? Or HIPAA, same thing, right? You got to make sure that the record, whether you're HR, whether you're a hospital, clinic, whatever it may be, that you don't get some fines for leaking data there. I tell people it's best to limit any of this data that's going out into AI. Really question it. Train your employees on some of these things. Make sure to vet all your AI vendors. Look at the EULA that you signed, and that's the end user license agreement. The thing that none of you in the room read, but I read it all. So when my customers are like, hey, I signed up for whatever it may be, and I say, hey, did you read the actual EULA? And they're just like, no. I go out and I read it for them. And even sometimes, funny, I'll use AI to summarize it for me, and then I'll actually ask questions of my chatbot. It's actually kind of a cool way to do it. But again, I'm using AI just for like, hey, go review this EULA and kind of highlight these things for me. Also, make sure to anomalize. So in the healthcare arena, which is the area that I kind of grew up in, there's ways that we would remove the patient information, so then we could use some different analytic tools. Kind of the same thing happens here. If you are maybe a coach of multiple different businesses, maybe you remove everything and you just number it, and then you have the key on your side, so you can actually make that anonymous. So that way you can actually put the data out there and make sure you're not leaking any of your customers' data out there. Okay. You can also, if you're a larger organization, use an on-prem or a private AI for some of those critical data workflows that you may have. Okay. And I'll go over kind of a little bit more of what the private AI might actually mean. So, all right, everybody's favorite question. I've used AI for writing a novel. Who owns it? Well, I'm going to tell you, this is a really great area right now. A lot of the outputs generated by AI without a significant amount of input from a human may not belong to you. So I know there's a lot of legislation that's happening, and I feel like it's changing every day. But intellectual property is super weird right now. And I think from a company's perspective, if you're using AI to generate all of your content, one, I think you're kind of doing it a little bit wrong. It's not a polished product. You're using something that is mildly flawed. As it becomes better, I don't think this will be a thing anymore. But make sure that you have a full understanding and you've consulted your lawyer on who actually owns the rights of anything that may be AI generated within your business. Maybe it's not applicable to you, but maybe it is. So if you're using it to generate images, one, I would make sure that I am like making sure that it didn't violate anything that is copywritten out on the web first. And then second, that if you're using that as a photo, whatever it may be, other people might get the same generation. So do you actually own it? I think there's a lot of questions that come there. Just use your legal representation accordingly. Make sure that they are on board with whatever you're doing. Okay. So there are times where your inputted data is also used to train the model. So you're actually feeding into AI, which they can then use to make it smarter. So if you're using proprietary data, you just kind of gave that to them, right? So second guess that. Make sure you are not at any additional risk. So there are some great different vendors out there, OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot. If you are a Microsoft user, if you are an O365, like you have a subscription, and you're not using Copilot, I feel like you've kind of missed something here. Copilot's a great tool as an AI source. It's amazing. So don't sleep on that one. If you're a Google user, let's say you're like G Suite all the way, a lot of nonprofits, the Gemini, built-in Gemini, it's amazing, especially when it comes to like email filtering, stuff like that. Definitely don't sleep on Gemini either. So I tend to see a lot of people use AI for contracts or even taking in some of their contracts. I would say be very cautious on doing that because you are kind of giving that data model, all of your contractual agreements. So definitely use it sparingly. If not, use Copilot, use Gemini. If you've paid for a subscription to these models, I actually think it's a little bit better in terms of your protections. And actually, there's a lot of things that a business can do to help protect their Copilot or Gemini that actually help you from becoming, victim of one of these risks that you would then have for putting a bunch of data out there. Make sure in your contracts with your customers, if you're using a ton of AI, that you have your clauses built out about data ownership in your contracts, or even that you do use AI. I see this pretty common with some of like the lawyers and the CPA firms that I get consulted into. They ask me about whether or not they should have these on their policies, and I'm like, absolutely. I think it's a great idea to actually list out some of these pieces because it would help you in the potential breach kind of scenario where you've said, okay, well, our third party application was breached. We do have a policy to help us, remove the data that's sensitive, but it helps kind of mitigate some of that risk away from you. If there's any lawyers on here, I'm sure like they'll probably be like, there's other ways to do it. Of course, there's 10 ways to do this. So this is just the way that I've made the recommendation to my customers with some of the lawyers that we consult with. So again, don't assume that you own all the content that's AI generated, especially if it was fully AI generated with very little input from you, because you might be getting some copywritten material in there, and you might be able to open yourself up for a lawsuit. Okay. All right. So, using the enterprise AI solutions with clear data ownership terms. Like I can't say this enough. If you're not paying for your AI, you're probably not doing it right. You need to actually be paying for it in order to have any sort of contract with the vendor. People ask me all the time what I feel about Google, right? Google being one of those things, no such thing as free lunch, like the Google Chrome browser. And they're just like, oh, I love it. It's so great. And I'm like, it's not really free, right? Because you're paying for it with all your data. But now if you have a Google enterprise account, you actually are paying for it. So it's a little bit different. They actually hold you a little differently. So my recommendations, audit your AI tools, no matter what they are. Make sure that they are performing how you want them to perform. Make sure that if you don't want them to retain data, that they're not. Test these things. Don't just assume that it's there. If you have employees that are working for you that are entering data into AI, make sure that you have a procedure for them to follow. Make sure that you're not opening yourself up for any sort of litigation if they're using it outside of how you want them to. You can also consider watermarking AI content when you're sharing it externally, so that way people can know that it is AI generated, or watermark your own thing, so that way if it's actually uploaded into AI, that it's a little bit harder for them to steal. Okay. Got a lot of slides here, so hopefully I haven't lost anybody yet. It looks like Coach Papa and Mike are still good, so I'm like, sweet. If I got those two, I know I'm good. All right, let's talk about protection. One of the bigger things for me is making sure in the cybersecurity world that you all are protected, and we know that you're not at any additional risk. Well, AI has kind of complicated those things a little bit. All right, so let's talk about the types of AI. Reactive, you've asked it a question, it's generated a response. It has no memory of anything that you've asked it before. Okay, sounds great. Probably like one of those little chat bots that you talk to on a website. Limited memory. So this is more like your ChatGPT. This is something that's saving your state. This is your most common AI that chatbots that are maybe like your paid for ones like Gemini, Copilot, and ChatGPT. They're all that limited memory, so they remember a little bit. Theory Mind and Self-Aware. These are the two stages that they're working on that kind of absolutely are interesting. Theory Mind is actively being worked on, and it interprets like kind of how you would think or some of your emotional responses to things. So basically trying to turn it more human. And self-aware, this is like Terminator, right? Straight out of the movies. It knows what's kind of going on, and it can protect itself, do all kinds of fun stuff. So we're going to leave those two alone. We're probably only going to really talk about the limited memory, okay? So we're going to start to talk about transition to how that limited memory can actually assist in the attackers that are out there. So the number one attack in 2025 that we're seeing is the AI-powered phishing and social engineering attacks. What does that actually mean? Some of you are like, phishing, yep, throw a rod out all the time, catch a bass. No, phishing is those crafty little emails that people send to you that look legitimate, but they're not. And they're trying to get you to go to a website, to enter in credentials to your Microsoft account, but it's not real, right? And they're just after your credentials to then log in and wreak havoc. Or they're trying to get you to click on a link to download something, okay? With AI, the same way that AI is helping us write emails better, it's actually helping the attackers. And I'll kind of get into that a little bit more. We're also still seeing ransomware. Ransomware is a service. That's always not a great one. That's where somebody breaches your company and then they sell your data on the dark web, and somebody else actually performs the ransomware. Supply chain attacks. We see this one. This one's been around forever. Credential theft and identity exploits. Again, I kind of talked about that in number one. And then AI agent exploitation. That's one that's just recently showed up. And I'll kind of go over some of those things as well. All right, so AI creating these cyber risks. Kind of the bigger, scarier thing is these emails that it's writing are getting better. And as the AI chatbots, whatever it may be, that's assisting these individuals, develop and their language model becomes better, it's harder to actually figure out which ones are fake. There's also AI is helping the attackers, once they have a foothold in your network, find vulnerabilities, figure out how to get around. It's helping low-level attackers actually become, mid to high-level attackers. So some things that we kind of have to watch out for. The AI assistants, I'll kind of get into that one a little bit. Again, that's a fun one, and it's really has to do with some older chatbots that are out there. Also, people are starting to try to feed bad data into AI. And as they start to try to be that poison apple, it actually leads to mistakes. It's kind of dangerous on what some of the things that it's doing. One of the most common things for AI is they actually have it coding. It does a lot of programming languages. And people are purposefully trying to feed in bad lines of code. So AI gets tricked into injecting really bad code into people's software. So some bad apples out there, and we have to be cautious on it. Another thing that I have to talk about because it's out there is a deep fake. A lot of people, as soon as I start talking about deep fakes, I can just see their eyes glaze over, and it, like Therese, it puts her right to sleep. And she's like, yep, nope, I have no idea. Eric, I'll call you if I think it's a problem. But deep fakes, you probably have all seen one. And it's created by AI, but it's meant to mimic somebody's face. Usually I see it as like a commercial for like a celebrity endorsing a product that it's really not them. And usually you can tell because their mouth doesn't match the vocals that are coming through, right? Like, I think one of the more vocal people about this is like Joe Rogan talks about all the products that he's endorsing that he has no idea that he's endorsing, right? That's a deep fake. Somebody has used AI to basically make a bot look like him. There's actually some really, really scary things that people are doing with deep fakes. And I think that's on the next slide. Yeah. So deepfake phone calls. If they can get enough of your your voice data. If you've done things out on the internet, if you've done podcasts, radio shows, if whatever it may be, they'll make phone calls, SMS, or video chats. I've heard of big companies having like the CEO jumps on with a bunch of people, and it's not actually the CEO. It's a deep fake where they're trying to get people to like download files, whatever it may be. There's even some really just poison apple chatbots that are out there, depending on where you run into them. So I always like scrutinize them just a little bit. The chatbots that I'm talking about, they're usually programmed to pretend to be like something helpful or tech support. And they're either just trying to steal your data or get you to download something. Also, the thing that AI is kind of helping, which is a bad help, is that it's helping malware learn how to hide a little bit better, because some of the malware is actually, the back end of it is being developed with AI. So it actually learns. It learns how Microsoft is kind of doing some things. Don't want to go into that. Don't want to scare anybody too much. Ellen might throw something at me if she sees me and I scare her too much. So make sure that you're the offensive people, the bad guys, are investing in AI. You also need to invest in AI. I tell people all the time, invest in the AI web filtering. So basically what it does is it looks at your websites that you're going to. It tries to make sure you're going to a legitimate site. Email filtering, exact same thing. It can help you identify if something's been completely AI written. The good and the bad of this is if you have somebody that's legitimate sending you always an AI generated email, if you're using a good email filter, it'll probably pick up on that and say, hey, this was AI generated, maybe watch out. Also, endpoint detection. I tend to not call this antivirus anymore. That's how everybody generally remembers, like my free AVG. No, it's now endpoint detect or endpoint protection. Invest in a good one that actually has AI built in. The Microsoft one, perfectly fine. If you're an Apple user, there are some options out there that maybe don't mess around with your Mac as much. So if you want some of those suggestions, just reach out. I'll talk to you about it. Also, make sure you're training your company on email phishing. This is huge. As the email phishing changes, it actually is really important to train on what the new verbiage, what the new emails look like, probably the most, right? All right, so what else we got here? So I'll give you kind of a free phishing, high-level phishing training right now. So kind of the way that I scrutinize an email, look for suspicious email sending addresses. So lots of times it'll say like Microsoft support is the name, but if you look at the actual email address, it's like, Apple123@Yahoo. So you have to look at that end portion, make sure it's sending from the source that you would expect. So like it'd actually be like support@microsoft.com. I still don't actually trust a lot of those emails. So I tend to go directly to the source. And I think that's actually in one of my latter slides. Go to the source, go directly to the website. Anything that they send you an email should be available on their website. Almost all phished emails, I say almost, not all of them. They're crafted to seem urgent or scary to you. They're trying to excite you to do something, right? Your OneDrive's almost going to be deleted. Click here to keep everything good. Don't do that. Go directly to this website that you know is good. Look for grammatical errors or spelling mistakes, or if it's written in a way that we don't actually speak. Being from, I tell people, don't tell everybody. I grew up in Rockford, District 205, great school district, if not really. So grammatical errors, I tend not to catch. You could write me 10 emails, I might not catch it. So but from our perspective, like look for those things. Look for grammatical errors or those spelling mistakes or things that you're just like, well, that's just weird. Weirdly, it doesn't read for like, it's not written very well. Look for those generic greetings. Hello, sir or madam. Don't look for those. Kindly. The word kindly is ridiculous. Like, kindly send payment now. Watch out for those things because those are kind of my, oh, this could be a phishing email. Boom. Lots of times they are. Unexpected attachments or links. Again, if I don't know who it is, why they sent it to me, I'm not going to open an attachment or go to that link. I'll go directly to your website and look for it, but I'm not going to open up that link that's embedded. Okay. Do the same. When in doubt, throw it out. The same way you would with your leftover Chinese food from last week. If you doubt that it's good, throw it away. Okay. It's just the right thing to do. Again, AI written phishing emails, unusual grammar, repetitive phrasing, being way too formal. If you get an email from me that's formal in any way, it's probably fake. Okay. I am probably the most relaxed person when it comes to emails. Or generic language. If somebody's not actually talking to you as you would expect them to. Best regards, the words or phrases, kindly, best regards, attention to this matter. I'm pretty sure every single AI written email that I've ever seen has kindly or attention to this matter in the message, or I hope this finds you well. Now, I have run into a few people that actually write this way, and I'm just like, you must be the model that they're actually writing everything off of, right? So try to maybe avoid these words to make sure that you're not being flagged as an AI bot, if you will. All right. So things to remember. I know I just threw a whole bunch of data at you at a very short amount of time. Ed, Brenda. Okay, Brenda. So we know that those are your keywords there. I don't know if everybody can see the chat, but it was awesome. So things to remember. One, have a conversation with me. I will sit down. I am a coffee person. You want to have a coffee and just talk about AI or general IT, always open for it, right? I will travel for a good coffee. Ask anybody, ask Therese. Bit of a problem in my household. But other things to remember, AI is really changing how we're being attacked. It's also changing how we are defending. If your tools that you're using for defense, which in most scenarios with a business, you should have a defense mechanism. Hopefully it's AI powered. If not, start looking for a new one, right? Your tools, your defense tools are probably getting out of date. It's kind of like the Bears defense right now. If we don't change something, we're never going to win a game, right? We have to change it up. We've got to start adapting to what the offense is doing. Otherwise, if we're doing the same thing, we're never going to win, right? You have to be very cautious when you're dealing with these smart systems. They're not foolproof. And combine your tools with your people. You have to train your people. That's really the takeaway on this one. If you've given absolutely great tools to your employees, but you've showed them not how to do it, you haven't followed through on what you need to do with that actual product. You've only done about half of what you actually need to do. You bought this sweet and shiny tool, but then nobody knows how to use it. So make sure that you're giving them the education and make them smart people. Also, train your team to recognize AI tricks and scams. Before I go to questions, there is one more thing I do have to talk about that I do want to talk about. And that's on some of these chatbots, some of these different ones that maybe you're feeding data into, just be cautious that you are not feeding it data that if somebody were to actually hack that chatbot on like a website, whatever it may be, that you're not losing sensitive data. This is a thing where people are trying to hack the actual chatbots that are out there. I know I mentioned it maybe a little bit earlier. I realized that the slide, I must have trimmed it down because I was a little bit worried about time, and I knew Therese was going to yell at me if I went over. So yeah, just a thing. A lot of the AI tools as they're being developed, whatever vendor, just make sure that the data that's in there is protected. That it comes back again to make sure that you're testing the things that you're putting out there. So, sorry to scare you, Coach. All right. So, any questions? What questions do you have? Throw them at me. How did I grow a beard? I don't know, genetics. I can't tell you. Favorite color is blue. Anything? Chris, when does Skynet take over? Unsure. Soon, I'm sure. I can't read these as fast as they are coming in. Hold on 1 second. Ellen, you want more information on data risk? Sure. More than happy to sit down, have a conversation. I mean, Ellen, I see you everywhere. Let's actually either have a coffee or something, and let's kind of go over some of the data risks that you might be experiencing. It because to be honest, it's hard for me to go through and specifically say, hey, this is your data risk, but you know, a CPA firm, a coach, and an insurance agent all have different potential data risks that come along with AI, just to make sure that I can custom tailor it to exactly what you're looking for. Therese, you could just unmute. She says no.
Eric, it looks like Matt put in the question and answer. How about a beer instead of a coffee?
Sure. Always down. Always down. Yes, Therese is a customer, and I'll tell you, anybody that's an Excesion customer that's using our usual stack of tools, we have a lot of the AI protections just built in there. You've probably run into a few of them, like our web filtering product, where you go to a web page and it's just like, yeah, no, you shouldn't be going here. That uses some advanced AI to kind of screen grab what that web page has on it to make sure that it's not going to be that you're not going to be at any additional risk. Also, we use an MDR product. It's a detection response software that actually sits on your computer that looks for things that are potentially malicious, and that's all powered by AI. Ellen, your question about using Apple products, like using a MacBook Pro, an iMac. I know that Apple will tell you that you don't need antivirus, which in most scenarios I would agree in a lot of ways with that. They're not 100% safe. You still need an endpoint detection. It's a good idea. There's some different products that are out there on the market. Apple even will sell you one. But also, what I tend to see with people with Apple devices, and I know the people, if you're talking about your phone, I'll probably catch some heat from Chris and James that are on this webinar because they're diehard Android users. People try to keep their devices forever. And nowadays, you really shouldn't do that. If you're still using your first iPhone or something, if you're still using like an iPhone 4 or a really old like Samsung device, you're at risk. I hate to put it that way, but also because all of these providers, Apple, Android, whatever it may be, they eventually sunset a model, a device. which really just means that they've stopped patching it. Sure, it'll still work exactly how you wanted it to, but you're not getting security updates. And if you're not in the know with how many security updates roll in a month for any of these products, you are missing out. Like I think Apple and Samsung both last month released like 30 to 50 patches. So it's like, if you have an old device that's not getting those patches, guess what? You're probably going to get something nasty on it. With your MacBooks, same thing. But Windows is doing something similar where they're stopping support of Windows 10 in October, so just a couple of months. So if you want to continue to get updates, specifically security updates, you got to be on the newest hardware. That was a very long-winded way to answer your question. All right. Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you all. Again, I'm Eric Vicencio. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And then Ashley.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Eric and Ashley. That was a good webinar. And that was our first webinar. So that was really fun to do with you too also. I just want to remind everybody, August 23rd, is this coming up the right way? Like, can you read it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Taste by the Lake, a wine and beer walk with a boat show and a vendor fair at Lakefront Park in Fox Lake. Tickets are live now and they're already being purchased, so don't miss out. Get yours today. And then also, if you're interested, there's still sponsorship opportunities at the same link. So go to our events calendar, August 23rd, and sign up for a fun day. And that's all we have, I think. All right, thank you, everyone.
Gave you a couple of minutes back to your day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.